Welcome back to the third episode of the Captain of Industry Beginner's Guide. Alright, where we left off, we were starting to produce iron and set up our first level 1 assembly buildings for the production of both mechanical parts and construction parts, one in each building. So let's keep going. Alrighty, as you can see, our trucks over here are continuing to do their automated job, and they are going and picking up supplies from our abandoned communication station. It's going to last us for a little bit while, but before these things run out, we do want to get production on them up and running so that we don't run into a crisis. Alrighty, so as you can see, we've got 12 construction parts in there, already ready to go, and you can see there's still quite a bit of room in it before it will max out and stop production, but we still don't want it to come to that. So let's see here. We have our unit storage building. So we're going to press R to turn it 180 degrees. As you can see here, we have green arrows indicating the input and red arrows indicating the output. We're going to line these up for future conveyor lines to be installed between the assembly building and the unit storage building. Doing this a little spaced out will also allow us to create any branches off to other buildings if necessary. Now we're going to press and hold shifts. We can build two of these, one for the construction parts and one for the mechanical parts. Now mechanical parts are going to come very important along with electronics in the production of maintenance for all of our buildings. So we're going to click on here, we're going to assign this the construction parts, and we're going to assign this the mechanical parts. Until we get a conveyor line system, the trucks will run it between the two. Which I know isn't very far, but keeps it running between the two. Alright, as you can see, our vehicles and mining is in progress, 13%. Once this is done, we'll be able to set up our first mine and set up the excavation. We'll excavate a little ramp over here so that we can build our permanent settlement over here in this area. Because as I said in previous videos, this area, building it up here, it will get in the way as we have... This will become a very big industrial area. Also, now that we have unit storage, what we're going to do here, because they're both going to be still very temporary, we're going to put this one directly up against the coal maker. Because shortly, when this is all done and we get a coal mine going, we're going to switch from using wood to make the coal to mining it directly. So we're going to set that up for wood. And that will give the tree harvester somewhere else to store the wood besides just inside the buildings. And it'll allow the tree harvester to keep working. So as you can see now, our trucks have gone from stable to busy. So as it says here, shows how busy your trucks are, does not include mining operations, and you can click on it for more details. Right now, if we go over to analytics, you can see that there are 8 jobs for the construction parts, and only having 9 vehicles is why we're busy. So we're going to, as soon as we get the mechanical parts going, we're going to start building some different buildings, including the vehicle depot, which is part of the vehicles and mining vehicle depot, that'll allow us to build more vehicles. And we've upgraded to very busy now because again we are kind of pushing the trucks at their limit. There's one more level and it'll hit extremely busy, and we want to try and avoid extremely busy as much as possible. However, it will happen early on and sometimes later in the game too. But later in the game it's a little bit more avoidable with conveyor lines. So as you can see here, one of the things that's been keeping it busy is they've been taking construction parts from the shipyard and delivering them to our unit storage. As you can see here, there's still 402 construction parts in our shipyard. So they're going to start filling that up. One of the other things we're going to want to get going here pretty quick is we'll want to get a second farm going before too long, because it's very easy for the settlement to outgrow your farm in these early days very quickly. And we want to try and avoid starvation as much as possible. Nobody wants to starve. So another thing we're going to do here also is we're also going to build the unit storage directly out from this. Place her there. And then we're going to set this to iron. And shortly when we progress enough to unlock conveyor lines, we'll have a flat conveyor line that'll go directly to there, and that'll take a burden off the trucks from pulling the iron away. So as you can see here, we finished the research for the trading dock. Now the trading dock will become a lifeline and a lifesaver through a lot of different crises that may happen. So it's down here in the cargo docks, and it's the trading dock. You can see it costs 135 wood to build, and we only have 20 per, as indicated in the parentheses. So we've got to help our tree harvester keep going. So let's find a place to build our trading dock. As you can see, there's an alert. Some part of it needs to be in the ocean. So we're going to rotate it 180 degrees by pressing the R key twice and line it up. Now you can see here, it needs this middle square that's got all the lines converging. That has to be clear and in the ocean with no obstructions. And it ideally wants all that's in the red there to be clear with no obstructions. So let's see if there's somewhere else we can place it that keeps it out of the way. But there you go. So now as you can see, whoopsie, let's not close out of that. But as you can now see, the trading dock building itself is green, and most of the lines there are green. You can see the ones going up on the map are red still, and that just means that area is blocked off from a ship, but there's enough of other areas so that a ship is able to come in. And at this point in the game development, it is figurative. There is no ship that actually does show up. I cannot personally speak for the developers as to whether that is an animation that they plan to add to the game at some point. But for now, it's an instantaneous trade action, but we'll go over more details of that in a little bit. So we'll place that down. Now we get the blueprint placed, and the trucks are going to start collecting wood to deliver it. Now, one way to track down certain vehicles if you're looking for them is if you go into the general you click on your workload up here, and you click on the general tab. So we were on the analytics tab to see what jobs were taxing the system as much. So now we'll flip back to the general tab, and we can click on the tree harvester, and it will center the screen on it for us. And there we go. See, we still have 2 trucks assigned to it, so it's just working away. Just kind of slow right now because there's only one of them. We're almost there on that vehicle and mining. What percentage are we at? We are at 78%, so we are getting there. So while we wait for the vehicles and mining research to complete, as that will unlock a lot of things for me to go over with you guys, let's talk a little bit more about the ship. So the ship is what you arrived here on, and the story of the game is that this ship, is broken down, and you are building a civilization from what you have, what was on board the ship, and what the natural resources are available on the island, and what you can trade with on nearby islands. Hence why the level 1 housing is made out of shipping containers. So if you press tab on your keyboard, it's going to take you to the map. Now the map shows us one settlement that we have, that we know of its existence, and this allows us to trade right away as soon as we build the trading dock with at least one settlement. However, we'll discover many more settlements that will have different trading options at different costs and varieties. And all these question marks are unknown locations that we'll have to go and explore as soon as we repair the ship. And this will continue out, almost encompassing this entire area. You will come across pirates and bandits that you will have to go into battle and upgrade and strengthen your ship. To do that and to discover the resource in that area. Sometimes it's a settlement, other times it's an offshore oil rig. And those become very important as the natural oil reserves on your island are fairly slim. Looks like we're almost there, so let's head back to the main map. Take another look at that. We're at 98%, so it's just about done. And then we're going to really get to see some of the cool stuff that this game can do. Alright, there we go. Our vehicles and mining is complete. New products unlocked are iron ore, and that is slag. We have a tutorial, mining and dumping. So you use, and I'll go over this in a little bit more detail, but we'll click, you use mine towers to control where things are built. And you have to start at an accessible plane. So that's what this image is kind of depicting. And I'll go into a little more detail when we actually do it. But this showing the plane going downward instead of starting at a flat plane or a certain level. It just doesn't work that way. So yeah. And we'll get into that here. We're going to start here with this plane of coal. Very obvious that it is coal, but you can also press the L key and see that it is... close off some of these other resources away, and you're left with coal. So we'll turn those back on for later. So let's set up our mine control tower that we're going to put right there. Now while that gets built, let's build our vehicle depot. We'll build it close to shipyard. That's where a lot of our resources are hanging out right now. And we can start our build queue before the building's even done, which is kind of nice. So let's start with a couple excavators and a few more trucks. And the trucks will all deliver these materials as they get them. Let's see how much. We have 180 vehicle parts right now. Let's see. Didn't want to close out on those. As you can see, the excavators use 30 vehicle parts of their own, so 2 excavators, that's 60, leaves us with 120. And then if we do 4 trucks, that's another 60 used, so it leaves us with another 60 left. So that'll put us in good shape to get us some more vehicles going. Alright, let's open up one of these bad boys. Okay, yep, so electronics and mechanical parts and iron. So let's set up another manual assembly. In fact, actually, we're going to put it right there. This one is going to build vehicle parts for us. All right, let's build another storage unit right there. And this we're going to assign electronics. And we're going to mark this, we'll keep 72 out of the 80 full. That will just help the trucks realize that we do want them to bring that material from the shipyard and from the abandoned communication station. Oh, actually, we don't have any in the shipyard. So we just in the abandoned communication station. So it'll tell them to bring that 300 over. Alright, as you can see now, our mine control tower and our vehicle depot have been built, or depot. And as you can see now, all the parts for this first excavator have been delivered, and the building is processing those. We'll throw another tree harvester on the end there, so that'll be useful for us still. Alright, now to go over the features of the mine control tower. So it defaults with this grid right here of its assigned area, but we're going to edit that and increase its size just so that it's easier to work with. And we're going to just kind of encompass this whole patch of coal. Now, in my previous playthrough, this actually turns out to be quite the coal mine, but there's an even bigger one back here. But we'll get into that later in the game. We're going to start out with this more accessible one for now. Alright, so now that that is our, assigned work area, we're going to press the M key for mine, and that's going to show us these yellow squares. If you press the Z key for dumping, you're going to get the green squares. So M is mine, Z is for dumping. And then if you press F, that will choose whether you want an angled, either vertical or by either incline or decline, or if you press F, it'll flatten it out. As you can see on the bottom corner of the screen here, those options are a little bit better explained or shown there. So if I press the F again, flips over to the incline, press it again, flat. We're going to start off flat. We're going to level off all of this raised coal because it's very easy and very accessible right now. As we get a little bit further on and unlock some other features, we're going to build a ramp going down to get to some of the deeper coal. But for right now, we're going to level off the top layers. So we're just going to click and drag and just encompass huge area here. As you can see, some of these squares are light in color, very light, almost see-through. That means that the ground is already level there, doesn't need any excavation. So we're gonna right click and we're just gonna delete a bunch of these because they're just not needed there. Just kind of cleans it up. So that will now, as soon as we can get some excavators over here, that will empty that. They'll start digging that out. First excavator has been built, as you can see right there. So let's go over here. Let's assign that excavator, and then we're gonna put two trucks with it to help it excavate that coal. As you can see, the excavator is moving on to its assigned area now. You can see the wood started to show up into there as well. Has our trading dock been built? Yes, the trading dock is built and ready to go. So you can hit trade with a village. It'll take you to the map and you can click on that specific village for trade. Or you can come down here and click on the scale symbol, which is for the trade menu. And that just shows you all the available trades right there. But it doesn't differentiate between which settlement you're dealing with. So if you want to deal with a specific settlement, go through the map. Now let's build another vehicle or mine control tower over here to excavate for our ramp that we're going to build to access this higher shelf of land so that we can start clearing it to move our settlement up there. As you can see, it doesn't take much to flip into that very busy again, because we just don't have the quantity of vehicles to do all the jobs that we're wanting to be done immediately. So now that we've unlocked coal, as you can see though in our units, we still only have the unit storage available. So let's open up our research tab here. As you can see up there, right up here, this is where the loose storage comes into play. And down here, unlocking basic diesel is where liquid or fluid storage is unlocked. So let's start by researching concrete production. It's locked because we have to research power and maintenance. Now, power and maintenance is very important. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to need electronics and mechanical parts for the maintenance depot. Very important. Keeps everything running. If you run out of maintenance after you've unlocked this, things will start breaking down and stop functioning, and can bring your entire industry to a standstill. So let's get that researching. As you can see now, these all turned green. So then we're going to add concrete production to the queue, and we're going to add storage to the queue, and then after storage we're going to add copper refinement. So this unlocks copper electrolysis, but it also unlocks the copper recipes for the blast furnace and for the metal caster. So as you can see, the mine control tower is letting us know, hey, there's nowhere to dump products. Well, it's got dirt. We've got dirt and we have coal there. And it's saying, hey, we've got nowhere to put these. So one of the cool things about this game is you can actually expand your island. And so what we're going to do here, for now though, we're just going to build a little dirt pile back here for the resources that will later flatten it out and go from there when we flatten it out, when we need it later, we'll need the material later. So we'll just kind of build a little uphill ramp like that, and it'll start to fill that up. But we have to tell this that it's okay to dump dirt, and we'll do rock as well. So now this truck that's got some dirt in it is headed off to where we designated, and it's going to dump that for us. Alright, that wraps it up for this episode on the Beginner's Guide to Captain of Industry. I'm your host, Frontrunner, and I thank you for watching. As always, please remember to share my content, as I am a new and growing channel, and please like and subscribe. I appreciate you joining me today as we continue in our adventure on Captain of Industry. And I hope you have a wonderful day.